In this video, I'm going to attempt to give many reasons why you, fellow car perverts, should give that Honda's current Civic Type R FL5 the deserving love, respect and attention that it really deserves. In a slightly Sesame Street way, I'm going to use the letter R to illustrate my reasons. I'm Jonny Smith. You're watching The Late Break Show. I'd heard some rumblings that this FL5 Type R is going out of production in the very near future, hence me wanting to borrow one and make this video to remind us why I think this is the 911 GT3 of front-wheel drive cars. What I hadn't banked on was that the week we edited this film, Honda actually announced an ultimate run-out edition with signature championship white paint and bespoke red decals, carbon detailing, additional illuminations and a celebratory gift box. Only 40 Ultimate Editions will be sold in the whole of Europe, and the UK gets 10, just 10, available on a first come, first served basis. So you don't have to buy 5 crap Hondas that you don't want in order to get on the list, or anything despicable like that. R is for rewarding. R is for revs. R is for red. R! Okay, I'm going to say this. I think this is more rewarding than any other hatchback in existence right now. New hatchback, that is. Let's stick with new cars. Yes, the GR Yaris is phenomenal, but the Civic pips it. And just the basics are so right, like the seating position and the position of the controls. And these are important things for a driver's car. You can definitely tell that the Civic Type R is still a car born out of obsession, without cost cutting and compromise. And I love that about it. You can get the seat really low. This ultra thin Alcantara wrapped steering wheel is a delight. Rifle precise short shifter here. And it's bloody cold, that aluminium knob, akin to the previous Civic Rs and also the Integra. It's a short little H-gate, and it auto blips actually. You're in it, you're wearing it. It's so important to get that driving position right for people. Visibility's excellent as well, actually. Probably better than the previous car, the FK8. The Civic is dirty. I haven't cleaned it. I have done about 250 miles in it in the last 24 hours and thoroughly enjoyed every single one of them. I'm not going to clean it for the purpose of this video because I did a walk round, a first look at this car some year, 18 months or so ago. The link to that is above my head right now.
Can you name all the Type Rs, Johnny?
All the Type Rs. EP3's the first one, the shoe looking one. FN2, the spaceship one, my favourite looking one. The transmission and engine of which is in my Allegro project. FK2, FK2, FK8, FL5. And for the purists out there is one before the EP3 that was available in Japan, and I can't remember the name of it. Which one is it? Is it
EK?
Is it EK9?
EK9.
EK9. This is the thing. None of the letters and number codes seem to follow any kind of order. I don't. EP3, FN2, FK2, FK8, FL5. Whatever. Which is your favourite Civic R? My favourite, if in a perfect Civic R world, I would have FN2 body shell on probably this chassis.
Yeah. With the EP.
With the EP3 shifter inside, yes! Comment on what you think yours is, if you could make your perfect Civic R Frankenstein. Revs, R for revs. There's revs. And that LED display right at the top of the dash binnacle gives you a really quick eyeball of where you're going with the RPM. It'll redline at 7, which is actually quite low in the world of VTEC. I remember back to the EP3 and the FN2, I'm sure they revved a lot higher, but of course they were naturally aspirated. This, well, it'll keep revving, but again, it doesn't lag and boost and have that pattern that a normal turbo engine does. It still feels very K20, and that's what it is, of course. 2 litre K20 motor. Is it the C1? I think it's the C1. 324 brake horsepower, 310 pounds-feet, which is 420 Newton meters. So it's up slightly on power and up ever so slightly on pounds-feet by the previous car. I think it's 8 horsepower up. The engine is a work of art, and even if you order this in Australia or America, it's still phenomenal despite being down on power. I think it's down to like 316 horsepower rather than 324 in those places because of, I don't know, Americans and Australians, do you use petrol or do you just use like maple syrup and kerosene? I don't know, but that's the reason. The K20 is a legend for good reason. It's proved itself to not only be bloody strong and tunable, it's an enjoyable engine. It just wants to sing. 0 to 62 is 5.4 seconds, I think, which is actually quite, you know, it doesn't sound that fast. I know it's bad. It doesn't sound that fast in today's world. But put it in R mode and let's just do a... Okay, so it's second to 60, of course, but we're in Type R mode and it really feels like we're in bloody touring car mode now because everything's like bloody, come on then, let's have you. It really is. I'm bouncing around in the seat, but it probably looks more uncomfortable than it really is. The seats are really supportive. I've said this before, there's a lot of instant gratification performance cars around today. And I just wonder, why do you want an instant gratification sporty car? Like, in auto blip on the way down. So that means that I don't have to blip it if I don't want to. But if I do and interrupt it, it will allow me. It won't have a hissy fit. You can turn it off in a menu somewhere. But that mechanical grip and the turning. I have driven faster cars, but very few are this engaging. This is the 911 GT3 of front wheel drive. It really deserves that accolade, and if we don't applaud and I guess purchase these cars, they absolutely will disappear, and I don't want that. No self-respecting driving enthusiast should discount the Civic Type R. Do you know what? This is one of those cars where I don't think it's an amazing looking car. I've only ever really liked the look of one Civic R, but it doesn't matter when it drives like this. The mechanical grip is phenomenal. That's the wrong fucking gear. Now the diff, it will scrabble and put the power to the other side, and you'll feel it skitter a little bit, but it's not uncontrollable, and it does not feel like I'm going to lose the car because I can bring it back on the throttle and the wide track. The car is longer wheelbase than the outgoing car, and it's a wider track than the outgoing Type R, and you really notice it when you're on bad roads, giving it, you know, some beanage. Really good. It's really good. Almost looks like a saloon, I think. but I think it's far better looking than the previous 2 generations of Civic Type R. That is an unpopular opinion, potentially. Not massively sold on the wing, but it's so much more restrained than the other ones. But if you go round to the front, look how wide it is. The track width and the stance is so squat. Compare that to a normal Civic from 20 years ago, which I just happened to find. It's over there. I've got one. If you haven't already subscribed to The Late Break Show, subscribe. If you want to become a Patreon and support us that way, you'll get easy, early access to videos like this and blogs from me, and sometimes videos that aren't seen on YouTube. I am a hot hatch purist. I miss the fact that so many aren't 3-door. In fact, I don't know if there's any 3-door hot hatches left. I've kind of like, I've become at peace with the fact you can't buy a 3-door Golf GTI and things like that anymore. But it also means you can celebrate more practicality, which justifies the fact that you can get a car like this for the price that this is, 50 grand. But a lot of cars are a lot of money now. 50 grand for a Civic Type R. R for red, because it doesn't matter what colour you option the outside of the Civic, and of course this one's in championship white. You can order it in at least one red colour. There's a lot of red inside, and that is a Civic Type R or a Type R tradition. The R is red, of course. We've got red sports seats here, Type R Alcantara, and they're beautiful. There's a slit by the crotch, which is slightly odd, but it's fine. It's just going to be a bit of a crumb trap. Not that you're going to be eating while you drive this. Red carpets, the deepest of reds. The deepest. Red seat belts. Red badge obviously on the nose and here. Red paint in this machined aluminium gear shifter. The quality inside actually feels really kind of artisanal, especially in the soft furnishings. I like it a lot. And while we're talking about the interior, hallelujah, it's bucking the trend of everything being on a gigantic tablet. This is almost like mid-2000s era levels of infotainment size. It's a bit more subtle and I like it, and there's a ton of physical buttons in a good way. I like that about it. Honda's gone, no, we want actual dials for all the simple things. This is good. Real buttons here for the driving modes, and by Jove, I think it's the future, actually. I really do. So it means when you're on it, you can still click, 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 press, press, press. And that tactility is what the Civic R has got in spades. It is a tactile car. I reckon if you got out of a hot Audi for the last 10 years and you gave an owner of one of those cars one of these, they would be like, oh my gosh, the steering is so direct and precise. It is. It's scalpel precise. While we're in the cabin as well, amongst this feast of red, and I don't know what dye they've used for these carpets, but it's the reddest red I have ever seen. It's so red, it's amazing. And I don't even like the colour red, but the interior is great. The Civic is a really practical car. Now, I know Golf GTIs have always had that amazing ability to be incredible all-rounders. Boot space of this, have a look. It is enormous. On paper, I think 411 litres, but it's the shape of it. I review an awful lot of family cars with disappointing boots. So many brand new cars are designed to be average inside space-wise and massive and bloated on the outside, and I simply don't get it, and I'm getting more and more jaded and off by it, frankly. But this is amazing, and of course, horizontal parcel shelf blind thing. Love it. You're not buying a Civic Type R for that, but isn't it great that it's there, because you can justify the fact that it is a car that you could use with a family. It's quite a stiffly sprung car, but there's loads of room inside. R for Golf R. Golf R. Hear me out here. Obviously the R letter is synonymous with lots of brands now. The Golf R is the natural predator to this. They are rivals. The Golf R is a similar price as well. These are expensive cars, like I said before. We are talking slightly north of 50 grand. Oof, for a hatchback car. Don't blame me, I'm just the messenger. The Golf R is quicker on paper. 0 to 60, 2. This is a 170 mile an hour car, but it's not all about stats. And when you test cars and live with them for a while, you realise this. The Golf R, point to point, in the dry, or on, yeah, this would outdo the Golf R, I'm certain. This feels way more communicative and fulfilling than a Golf R. But off the line, the Golf R will be quicker. Yes, it will, it just will. Can I just suggest that you don't buy a Golf R instead of a Civic Type R? Because the Golf R 8.5, it's not the finest Golf R in my view. It's definitely not the finest looking. This car feels better. It's more enjoyable, and I really think this car is a more exclusive car nowadays, lesser seen, and therefore it's going to be more collectible. That's the way I feel. You see a Civic Type R on the street and you know it is a connoisseur's vehicle, especially now that you know that that person has spent £50,000 on one new. On the one hand, that's ludicrous. But on the other hand, we live in a world where there's some real average dog's mess cars for sale for 40 grand. So, hell, with like one option, an Audi RS3 is a 70 grand car now. £70,000. It's quite a car, this. It really is. As expected, there's an urgency and an exhilaration to the Type R, but it's so real and so raw. There's another R that I hadn't thought of. It just is a reality check on good old driving experience, communication, response, grip, feel. It's all these things that are actually getting lost in so many cars today. And I actually think if we don't continue buying these sorts of cars, they are going to disappear. There's a thing in the middle between the seats, a gear shifter, and it's got 3 pedals. The Golf R you can't buy with a manual gearbox anymore. It's DSG with that horrible wet farty up and down shift. Do we want that sort of thing? Maybe you do, but I think if you really are an enthusiast for pure driving, the Type R is a phenomenal weapon. It's an absolutely beautifully crafted sword of a thing, and it can be as maniacal as you want it to be. I am a massive fan, as you can probably tell. Just wow. Let me know what you think. Maybe you're an owner of a current Type R or an older Type R. I'd love to know your opinion. The other thing I'd like you to do is to subscribe to The Late Break Show if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.